I'm delighted for Mainoo, the fact that he's managed to get back in the team, the fact he's managed to make a fool out of Ruben Amorim.
Kobbie Mainoo is becoming exactly what Rúben Amorim feared. And the scariest part? Amorim literally told you this would happen. Not with some dramatic headline, not with a viral quote, but with one sentence that sounds harmless. Until you see what's happening now. If I start him more often, he'll be hard to take out. That wasn't praise. That was a warning. Because once Mainoo gets real minutes, you don't just rotate him, you build around him. And Michael Carrick has just proved it in the most brutal way possible. Let me show you. Tottenham, Old Trafford. Big game. Big moment. United win a corner. Bruno puts it in. And Mainoo doesn't even look. He flicks it back. Clean, calm, like it's training, straight into the danger zone. Bryan Mbeumo scores. One touch, one routine, and suddenly you realize this kid isn't just promising, he's running the room. Carrick himself highlighted Mainoo's role in that opener, calling it part of a well-executed set-piece routine, and also confirmed Mainoo has now started all 4 matches under him. 4 starts, 4 wins. And that's where the story gets ugly for Ruben Amorim. Because before Carrick, Mainoo was basically a ghost. Under Amorim, in the first half of the season, Kobbie Mainoo played just 183 minutes total, all as a substitute. 0 league starts, one of your most gifted midfielders. Reduced to late cameos, and Amorim's explanation only made it worse.
I think he can play in both positions in the midfielder. Last year he played more in front. I think his perfect position is more near the ball, always with the ball. I think he's a big talent.
He called Mainoo the future of Manchester United. Then he turned around and said,
He's fighting for the position now with Bruno. And I changed 2 midfielders. I let Mason Mount there because we want to score a goal. And then when I change, I felt that the team needed to return to one holder midfielder near Bruno. So we just need to fight the position with Bruno.
The problem is United play with 2 midfielders, and that Mainoo was basically fighting with Bruno for that spot. So let's translate what that really means. Amorim didn't just think Mainoo needed time. Amorim didn't trust him in the role that actually matters. The role that decides whether United control games or get controlled. Because in Amorim's model, that midfield is the seatbelt. 2 midfielders for stability. No chaos, no risks. No passengers. And Amorim looked at Mainoo and saw something dangerous. A player so talented, so clean on the ball, so naturally brave, that once you start him, the entire fan base starts asking the obvious question. Why wasn't he starting in the first place? That's what Amorim feared. Not Mainoo failing, Mainoo proving everyone right. And once he proves everyone right, he becomes untouchable. So Amorim kept him on the bench and tried to keep the lid on it. But then Carrick arrived and took the lid clean off. Carrick didn't complicate this. He simplified it. He gave Mainoo a defined role, clear responsibilities, a structure that protects him and lets him dictate. And immediately, the entire team changed. Mainoo started every single one of Carrick's first 4 league matches, including wins over Manchester City, Arsenal, Fulham, and Tottenham. That's not a youngster getting chances. That's a manager planting a flag. And it's working! Against Tottenham, Mainoo didn't just get an assist, he controlled the game. Reports described United's play as beginning with the ball at Mainoo's feet. He won 8 duels. He played 10 passes into the final third. He was everywhere, And here's the quiet detail that should scare every Premier League midfield. Mainoo completed his passing at an elite rate in that match. Calm, safe, consistent, while still taking responsibility for progression. That's the combination coaches dream of. Safety with ambition. And it's exactly the combination Amorim couldn't afford to unleash. Because once you have a midfielder like that, the excuses disappear, and the comparisons start immediately. One journalist even summed it up like this: with every passing game, Amorim's stance on Mainoo looks more ridiculous.
I'm delighted for Mainoo, the fact that he's managed to get back in the team, the fact he's managed to make a fool out of Ruben Amorim.
That's harsh. But that's also what happens when a player goes from not ready to linchpin in 4 games. Now look at Fulham, because Tottenham is the clean example. Fulham is the chaos test. United win 3-2 in a match that felt like it was slipping away. And here's the part that should have buried them. Fulham actually edged United on expected goals, 1.97 to 1.74, meaning the game was closer than the scoreline suggests. Meaning United still had to survive moments. And that's where Mainoo's value becomes obvious. Because Carrick didn't praise him like a hype man. He praised him like a manager who knows exactly what he's watching.
We seen last week what Kobbie can bring. It was great, you know. He's quite straight-faced and he doesn't give you an awful lot, but you could see the way he played and he expressed himself. He was enjoying himself, and to see him like that was great.
Carrick said Mainoo has been fantastic. He said there's still more to come. He talked about how Mainoo understands what's needed and isn't fazed.
Yeah, I thought Kobbie was great in there alongside Casa. I thought between the two of them, and
that's not a compliment for a flashy teenager. That's what you say about a player you trust to hold the spine of your team together. And Carrick isn't the only one feeling it. After the Tottenham win, Bruno Fernandes spoke about the energy being different because United are winning. And when you win, everything feels brighter. That's what control does. It's contagious, and Mainoo is becoming the control. So now we have to ask the real question. What exactly did Ruben Amorim fear? Was it Mainoo's talent? No. Amorim said he rated him. Was it Mainoo's personality? No. Amorim called him the future. So what was it? It was the chain reaction. Because starting Mainoo doesn't just change Mainoo, it changes the entire midfield hierarchy. It changes what Bruno is allowed to do. It changes which profiles you can play beside him. It changes how brave you can be in build-up. It changes whether United can dominate games instead of just surviving them. And most importantly, it changes the narrative around the manager. Because when a player becomes undroppable, the manager loses a luxury. The luxury of waiting. That's why Amorim kept reminding people Mainoo has to fight for his place. Because fight is a way to buy time. But Carrick didn't buy time. He bought results. And he did it by making Mainoo a starter instantly. And now Amorim's worst-case scenario is here. Mainoo isn't just playing well, he's making it look obvious. Like it was always obvious. Like the benching was never tactical genius. It was hesitation. So where does this go? If Mainoo keeps stacking performances like Tottenham, if he keeps passing at that level, winning duels, threading play into the final third, deciding goals with one flick, then the entire conversation shifts again. Because then it stops being, is Mainoo good enough? And it becomes, how did Amorim ever justify leaving him out? And that's the exact moment a young player stops being a prospect and becomes a problem. A Premier League problem. Because once a midfield controller is born, you can't put him back in the box. Kobbie Mainoo is becoming exactly what Ruben Amorim feared. Not because he's failing, because he's proving. And if this is what he looks like after 4 starts under Carrick, imagine what he looks like after 4 months. Because when a manager finally trusts you, and the whole team starts winning, that's when the real version of a player shows up. And for the rest of the league, that version of Mainoo is the last thing they need.